Hello everyone, this is Eagle Owl. I thought I would do a video that is kind of important to me, and it's not real well rehearsed, so I'm just going to kind of go with it. I notice a lot of people will see someone and they will not know what you're going through, and it's easy to just prejudge people. But it's like you don't really know their life history and you don't know what they're going through. I just give some examples. Maybe you ask someone to a party and they don't show up, and you're like, I wonder what's going on. And you're like, well, maybe that person suffers from extreme anxiety, and they want to go, they want to be with people, but maybe some extreme anxiety from something in their history is keeping them in their house. It's helping them feel more safe and secure. Maybe you approach a girl and you say a certain thing to her, and then you get a response, and you're like, why is she being a B? And you don't know her childhood. You don't know the scars, the permanent scars that are placed on her. Maybe maybe she was in a relationship for 6 years where she was constantly beat and verbally abused and demeaned, so that when you ask a certain question or you make a certain comment, because of her permanent scars and her own personal history, she responds a certain way, but you don't get it because you're not inside that person's mind. Maybe you're at a light and the person behind you honks because it took you a second and a half to go after it turned green, and you're thinking, man, this person's a real butthole. But then what you don't realize is they're not necessarily a butthole. Maybe their wife just told them 2 days ago that she wants to leave him because she's bored, she's tired of the relationship. So this person who's normally tries to be a nice person has too much on their plate, and the littlest thing gets them going. So what you have to do is you have to understand that every person has had unique life experiences that no one else has had. Every person has had to deal with things that in a specific manner, the way no one else has had to deal with. And most people have permanent scars based on things that have happened in their past. And it's going to cause them to respond or react a certain way based on what you say to them. Whereas if I say something to person A, I might get a response that seems perfectly normal. If I say the exact same thing to person B, I would get a response that seems weird, but it's only because of their permanent scars that you are not aware of. And then another thing is I wanted to touch on is people probably shouldn't, not probably, they should not pay attention to all the things that are different between you and another person. No matter who you are, you're going to be extremely unique, and whenever you interact with another person, there's going to be things about them that don't match with your mind. There's going to be things that they disagree with you. They're going to have beliefs that are different than you. They're going to have philosophies that are different than you. It doesn't make them a bad person, and it doesn't mean you have to dislike them. It just means they were brought up in a certain environment with certain parents and certain influences that have molded and shaped who they are, experiences that have made them who they are. So it's the best thing you can do when interacting with someone, don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about their differences, but tune into what they're saying, tune into what they talk about, tune into what they like, and focus on the things that you have in common. If you can only think of one thing that you have in common, okay, that's a start. If there's 8 or 10 things you have in common, that's a start. You may 90% of the things between you and someone else may be something you don't have in common, but if you just focus on the things that you have in common, it'll get you really far. And try to be patient and try to understand, like, everyone's going through something. You know, I do that all the time. If I know a person really likes music a lot, but our philosophies are so different, whether it be on politics or religion or whatever, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the things that we're different about. I'm going to try to relate to them in an area where we do have common ground. And then my last point is, like, it's a subject that a lot of people consider touchy, is like the whole these type of people are bad, those type of people are bad, racism, anti this, anti that. And the thing is, like, man, no matter who you come from, we all like good food. We all like good music. We just have a different of opinion of what good music is. We all like our family. We like our kids. We want to have a good life. We want someone special. And it's like, although on the surface there's so many differences, there's so many things like that everyone has in common, and that the human experience all can relate to and all desire in life. And like, it's like you have people who are white that are evil, hateful, and then you got others that are kind or try to do the right thing. Same thing with folks that are black, Hispanic, from this country, from that country, young or old, and it's just so easy to assume certain things about a person. You can see a black guy with long dreads and a bunch of tattoos, and his pants are real loose, and you can assume, oh, maybe he'll rob this place. Oh, maybe he takes drugs. And then you find out he's got a kid that he does everything for, and he helps out at a local community center and never steals anything. And then you can see another guy, same thing, you can see a white guy with a bunch of tattoos. Maybe he drives a big, mean, loud motorcycle, and you can assume, oh, this guy probably hates people that are different than him. Maybe he hates people from other races. And then you get to know him and you realize, no, he's not like that at all. He would give the shirt off his back for someone who really needed it. And it's like sometimes rich people despise people who are poor. Poor people despise people who are rich. And no matter which one of these spectrums you're coming from, you want someone to care for you. You want to do good in life. You like good food. You like good times. So if I was just to give a basic moral of the story, it's like, practice having patience. Practice understanding people, and not focusing on the things that are different, but focus on the things that you can relate to. And it's just like, life is a big journey, and you think you have a certain amount of wisdom, and then 10 years later you realize how much more you know than what you did 10 years ago. And then no matter how much you think you know, the more that you learn, the more you realize how much you actually don't know, and how much more wisdom you actually need. So that's basically the moral of the story. It's just like, life is a big journey. Appreciate it. Appreciate the little things. Try not to dwell on the past. It's not coming back. The future's never here, because soon as the tomorrow gets here, it's no longer the future, it's today. So try to appreciate the little things. And it's easy for me to say because maybe every minute of every day I don't take my own advice. But like I said, life is a journey and I'm learning. So just enjoy this experience that we call life and realize that whenever you're having a bad moment, the bad times are never permanent and also the good times are never permanent. So whenever you're on a bad moment, realize that it's temporary and good moments are coming. Whenever you're on a good moment, soak it in, appreciate it, and make the most of it. This is Eagle Owl. I hope to have lots more videos to come. Thanks for tuning in. Out.